someone when you've looked everywhere under the sun. I had closed the book, my story was over and done.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio. Today we get to introduce Doug Kistner on the show. He's a singer, a songwriter, a keyboardist, and leader of the Allstar project called Studio Deluxe. And that's D with a little apostrophe thing, L-U-X. And their new single is out now. It's called Not in a Million Years. And you've got to listen to this, man. This is kind of epic stuff. You know, growing up in the 80s and 90s, there was these bands that had all this powerful music with incredible dynamics. Just the musicianship is stellar, and then the vocals are stellar. And I don't know, for me, when I was listening to this song, I was like, oh man, we're kind of back to that. And I'm just saying, yes, we have tons of awesome recordings out there in the world. And you know, I love getting new music. And this is one of those songs. I was like, yeah, we need this, more of this back. I don't know how to explain it, but I kind of took me back home for a little bit, back into my childhood in a way of just these epic songs. Because if you're going to release singles, which is kind of the world we're in now, I think it better be damn epic and good. And this is there. So you can keep up with the band on Facebook and YouTube. I've got the links in the show notes. So wherever you're listening, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or even Facebook, look in the show description and you'll see the links so you can connect with the band. But welcome, Doug. How are you?
I'm good, Lisa. Thank you. That intro was fantastic.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
You said it all.
Well, but am I right about the era of the 80s, 90s?
Yeah, 70s. Well, for me, 70s
Yes.
and 80s
Okay.
were it. You know, I mean, right? Everything was there in the 70s and 80s for my, just growing up, and after all this time goes by, you're still listening to the best of that stuff, and it's sort of unsurpassed.
But that's kind of the feeling for me. It was like, we had just the musicianship and everything was so, I don't know, it was an attention to detail. And I'm not saying people don't do that now at all. So, but there was just this attention to detail and dynamics, and how the horn section comes in, like the horns on this song, like the solo, the guitars, like there's just epic moments, but it flows in a way that is just, it's well crafted. But I've listened to it several times and I have to listen to it with that other brain. But to me, it's like one of those songs where you go, man, what the hell? Who put that together?
That is such a great compliment. Thank you for saying that, and I'm glad you recognized it.
Yeah. Tell us who's on this. Who's playing what? Because I mean, the music of it, and Not in a Million Years. We could use that line for a lot of things. That's a good title.
Yeah. That title just came out of nowhere, and I was like, I just sang it, as I had this melody and chords, and that I just sang that, and I'm like, where did that come from? And it just sings well with that melody. It just like, I didn't have to remember it. I instantly knew, okay, that's that's a keeper. So that title came out of nowhere. But back to the players. Liberty Devitto's been on all the songs that we've recorded. Mm-hmm. And, of course, he's on all the Billy Joel classics, and he's a monster. He's just kills it.
Yeah.
And, yep. So we have a driving drummer, on all the track, he's doing all the songs. And, this time, Lee Loughnane from Chicago, the trumpet player from the very beginning, is on this song, and I'm amazed that he did it. I had been talking to him for quite a long time, hoping that maybe we'd do something together, and we had a couple of false starts. But with this one, he said, you know what, I have some ideas for the horns. So that's his horn arrangement, and he just put down the
Classic.
trumpet tracks, and yeah, it's his horn arrangement. And man, if anybody knows how to do horn, horn arrangements, Jesus, I mean, they're my favorite band of all time. Anyway, so having Lee play on one of my tunes,
And everyone's
just
from
amazing.
Chicago, right? So people
From
need
Chicago,
to know
yeah, Lee
Chicago,
Loughnane.
the band
Yeah, I
Chicago.
mean, he plays all those famous solos on Beginnings, and does anybody know what time it is? That's his trumpet solo
Yeah.
on all
But
those.
you hear it
And
like, but this should be in a movie, man. You know what I mean? It should be in a movie. It should be a soundtrack.
Well, I can't.
Well,
I hope you're
get
onto
on it.
something there, but
Well, let's just call the movie gods, right?
I'm not in Hollywood. Yeah.
And I don't know. It just feels like I think that's what it was about going to the 80s for me. It's like when I listened to it, it felt like a movie song that you would know. You had that original attraction, and like you've kind of felt like you know it, but it's not what you know.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's a catchy tune.
It's a good tune. It's a good song. It's just a badass song. You got to go listen to it, and it's on like all the streaming places, right? For people.
Yeah, it's out there on all those digital things. That's the good thing about one of the only good things about the current business is
am I hearing a little bit of a rant? There, see, it's rants and raves.
Yeah, we could rant on that.
Yeah, but before you get to that, can we rave about John Herington too?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
his guitar when he sent me his guitar solo, which it's usually the same situation. He'll send me what he did on the track, and I'm always like, oh man, like this is perfect. Damn. I don't have to say, hey, could you redo this part? Or it's like, wow. It's his solo is so it's hard to describe because it's not complicated, but it is like you know what I mean? It's like it's a perfect solo within the song, but who's going to play a solo like with that kind of phrasing and intricacy? But it's not like some crazy solo where he's playing. He's trying to show off or playing all kinds of things. I mean, he's a special player, and his sound is great. His sustain, just when he comes in with his guitar solos and fills towards the end, it just gives it another lift. Like, wow, it's not like an average solo, not at all. So, everybody's great on it. Everybody adds.
Well, how did all of this
so much
start?
to it,
actually, how did it start? How did it all come together with this? Because I was listening to Silence is Louder on your YouTube channel, and you've got, and everyone go on there, and again, the link is in the show notes. Silence is Louder. I love that too. I mean, it just seems that, eventually hoping for an album, right? But each one, you just really take on a song, and there's no misfires. It's going to be 100% what you get for the audience side.
Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, I think that if you do an album, right, you're gonna have to come up with a lot of songs. So some songs are not going to be your best. Like you're going to have to write another song for the album. And, really, you're only going to have probably hopefully three great songs that would be singles or something. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm doing now is I'm just writing the best song I can. I'm not like, I have to write 10 songs. I can, if I did that, the songs wouldn't be as good if I had to do them. So I'm just doing them. Once I stumble on something I think is really good, then I have to finish it. And then once we record it and everybody's playing something really cool, with the level of guys that are involved, it just brings it up to another level. So
that
I
way
think
you're inviting different people pretty much on each song that
correct,
you do.
correct.
Cool.
Yes,
And
I'm lucky to have these guys that are up for it, and I think that I know that they enjoy doing this kind of music. It's like real songs with sections and a chance to play a certain groove, and there's some solo work and catchy choruses. I mean, hopefully I'm just trying to hone in on like all the good stuff that we like.
so now from here, like you're going to do you have another one in the works, another song?
I do. I have another song that's it's it's kind of movie-ish. It's kind of cinematic. It's a little
See?
darker. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
little darker
Ooh.
piano, like a piano, a little eerie. But it's got a good chorus too. It's dynamic. So I already have
Mm.
that up, and I'm just sort of right now. We're just promoting this song,
Mm.
and then I'll get to that, and we'll
Yeah.
finish it. Yeah.
Do you think eventually it'll all go into an album, like all the songs?
Well, we could like round them all up and put it,
Or even
and
an
put an album
EP,
out. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
I did an EP. Well, there's the first 3 songs that we did, I were on an EP. It's that blue cover. It just says Studio Deluxe. So there is a 3-song EP. It really wasn't promoted too well as an EP, but all the songs got, some decent Spotify streams and some YouTube views and everything. And we're building slowly. I think
Cool.
so. Yeah.
It takes time, and at the same time, I mean, you're a keyboardist, and you work with different bands, right? So let's touch on that a little bit. I was reading like you played with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Holy cow, John Waite and Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I mean, I love Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I do.
Yeah.
I really love them, and that is some good songmanship. I don't know if that's a word, songmanship, but it is now for me. It means that the actual melody and the vocals and the lyrics are all there, and the music, songmanship. Yeah, I like that word. That's a new. Is that a word? Is that a word?
Sounds good.
I know, but it is. I mean, they were the ultimate of all of it, and that voice. Holy cow, man! Yeah, I don't know. It just and maybe it's the horns in there too, right?
It's the horns.
It always had.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, they have a similar sound to Chicago, really, on those early, but they just never. I think they only had really 2 albums that really
I know, but it's
did
so
anything.
good.
But it's oh my God, it's classic. It's great.
I mean, when you hear Spinning Wheel, da 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 da.
Yeah,
I mean, the intro is like, "Wake the hell up, everybody! Here we go!" And then it's like, boom,
it's very
and then
exciting.
what goes up must come down. I mean, it's like. And even the way the lyrics and the melody goes according to Up, and it's kind of, they really kind of made the music go with the words. It's wild, like cool. I'm sorry. I really love that.
That's
band.
great. It's totally cool. Yes.
I agree.
It's great.
Got to see them, and I always forget their name. Got to see them. God, this is about, God, I'm going to think 15 years ago, 20 years, 20 something. I don't 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Of course a casino, right? And they were playing with, and I always forget their name. Guess Who? The Guess Who. They were playing with Guess Who.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was pretty cool. So maybe you were there. I don't know. It was when did you play with them?
I wasn't there very long at all, but I did have a run with them. It would have been like 20 years ago.
Oh, you never
That
know.
long ago. I can't believe, time is just.
It's got to be like 2010 or 11 or 12 that we saw. Yeah. No, 2010.
Yeah,
maybe?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, something around there.
I don't know
I don't
who
know.
was in the band.
Oh,
then.
we're all
I don't
so
even know.
young. We're so
Mhm.
young. We're all so young. And Trans-Siberian Orchestra, that's pretty sweet. Dang. How do you do, like, what's that like?
That was like it was like I only have a little bit of memories of, you know, traveling with it and then seeing the stage, and like the songs I don't even remember except for the big Christmas there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know the name of it. It's just sort of like that came and went, and I forgot all the music. I have
Oh, wow.
memories of, yeah, I have like little snapshot memories of doing that tour, and it's
It gets
almost
blurry on
like
the
a
tour,
dream.
right?
Yeah,
Isn't
it's
it?
like a dream.
It's like, we travel full time. So everybody's like, I'm like, I don't know where I just was. Like I do,
Yeah,
but
don't even
then,
know.
well, look, it's, if you live in the moment, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think. And when you're playing music, you are in that moment. You can't,
Right, right. Once you're playing, you don't
you're
know.
in it.
You're not like where are we? Yeah,
You're in
you're
it.
just, yep, you're playing.
And then off to the next thing, and then you're in that zone again. So it's kind of, I think that's the interesting about travel. It's like you're always in the
Hmm.
constant now. And then when you look back, you're like, I kind of remember these certain little highlights, or something happened, or something had to happen for you to remember, right? To
Yeah,
go back, because otherwise it's like, it's taxing. Touring is hard. It is hard work, you know, it's
yeah.
fun.
The sleep thing, like the energy, your sleep patterns and all that. That's why, really.
Oh,
I
I
think.
know. I do know. I live that. I don't have a clock anymore other than like listening to music. That's a good clock. If you want to wake me up, play music. Otherwise, I never sleep really, so it's okay. But let's go to your current now. What's going on now with you, and where people can see you play? Do you play out, or what's going on?
Well, I'm always playing a gig somewhere or with somebody or even solo, some local gig solo. But I play with Liberty DeVito with Lords of 52nd Street, which is
Hmm.
the original Billy Joel band. We're playing shows, uh, in various places. Our schedule is
Sweet.
varied, Yeah. I play with Beginnings, which is the Chicago tribute. That band is really good. It's a blast to play all the Chicago music. There's some album cuts that we do that are really fun to do. The horn section's great. The whole band's great.
Mm.
So I do that. I just play some various. I'm always playing now with Studio Deluxe. We're trying to play. We're trying to do something live and bring some of these guys together and play some of the originals. And we're going to play, like Boz Skaggs, Toto,
Wow.
Chicago, all that kind of cool stuff. Um,
Yeah, it is
we
the
will do
70s
that.
and
It won't
80s.
be,
Yeah.
it's not a tribute band. It's not, we're just going to do all that, vary up all that good music, Steely Dan, Doobie Brothers, and,
Oh,
throw in our music. And I hope we can do it. It's just tricky to do it because we don't have a hit song, you know, uh, but we do have some super players. So
oh, yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
Well,
I'd love
let's
to be
go to
doing
that.
that.
Yeah,
Love to be
because I
doing
mean,
that.
your music, it does catch you immediately. You listen, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get into that. So with the whole world being singles, do you think that that's a good thing for you with how you're set up? That, hey, I'm writing one song at a time and I want it to be epic, so I'm going to bring in the right people. I
Yeah.
mean, really stellar musicians and make it happen. Like, it's like the song is as important as the whole album. And that's the thing, I'm going to say people can produce albums, but if it's 10, 14 songs of,
Yeah.
what, you want them all to be as good as the single. So the single market is a very interesting thing. And
Yeah.
can you,
I, I think,
yeah.
I think that is the best way to go for me for this project. And people, if people know and love one of your songs, that's a lot, like you really just got to get one song to really do something, and then the others will follow. I mean, people aren't going to listen to all of your songs. I gotta, I'm just hoping people will hear. I mean, but now, like you, for example, you've heard a few songs and you like them. So,
Yeah.
that's great. But just trying to get people to listen to one or two songs, or then start to, like Spotify and Apple and stuff like that. If you subscribe because you like the one song, when the next one comes out, you might listen to it, and then like, yeah, oh, I like these guys, and then it's, you sort of get things rolling. So I think the singles thing is good for me, because we don't have a major label pumping loads of money into promoting this album. So yeah, we just got to get, just keep building song by song. I think that's what we're doing. We'll see what happens.
I like that song by song.
That's what we're doing.
Because
that's
people will wait. They'll wait for, I think, quality over quantity, right? And
right.
less is more. Less is more.
Yeah. I agree. And
that's what dynamics in music is not putting it all out front all at the same time.
Right.
Is less is more. How did you get started in music? What's your background? And was it keys, songwriting, singing?
I just was drawn to it really early on. And I wanted to play all the instruments. So I was fooling around with trumpet, drums, the piano down in the basement that really didn't even work. So I was just, I was drawn to it. I wanted to play like every instrument. And then, when you start listening to like bands like Chicago, well, they were always my favorite band, really. But there was so much to listen to with all that's going on in their arrangements, and they were doing sophisticated stuff too. So it opened your ears to harmonically, some really interesting chords and things like that. And rhythmically, they were doing all kinds of stuff. The horn arrangements were very intricate and dissonant at times, especially those earlier albums. They were doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And not always, but they would get there, I mean, they did double albums.
And showmen too,
Oh, wow. They were the cool. I mean, yeah. Then when you saw them live, it was like overwhelming. So
this is where I thank YouTube, because I have not had that opportunity. So I've not seen them live, but like, when you think about it, it's like, thank God YouTube exists on some, people putting up live shows from the past, but it's still not the same, is it?
Right. No, it's not the same.
But you still get that.
You get a good idea. Yeah.
And by you guys playing all these, well-known songs, right? In these bands, and then putting your music in there, I think it's a good blend. I said the word blend because I can. It's important. But when you're doing that, I think it's important because it's keep carrying a torch forward. It's moving people because it's changed the music.
Listen, new music is not really welcomed. People don't really want to be bothered. They how many times do they want to listen to "Don't Stop Believing"? And whatever.
And it's different than when you hear it on the radio, right? It's a little different.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Right.
Than when you see it
makes
live.
it like it's legit. Like when if there's a new song on the radio, it's kind of like, okay, there's legitimacy to having it on the radio, but these stations, they don't play new music. The classic rock stations don't. They used to be, sure, they would be playing everything, but then you know what? here's the brand new song from the Eagles or whoever, any of them. And, you know, it was so
I
great.
have,
It was so great, you
okay,
know?
that's my rant. This is my rant. And
Hmm.
our audience, sorry, you've heard my rant for so long, for so many years, but I have a rave on it. So we travel full time. We're on the road constantly. And I have CDs and I have the same car because she has a CD player. And so, and she's a girl. The car's a girl. Sometimes she's a boy. She can be what she wants when she wants. And, anyway, so eventually you get frustrated. And yes, you could stream and download and all that stuff, but it's just different for us. So if we're going to do the CD mode, it's going with this musician or this album or this mix goes with this region where we're driving through, right?
Hmm.
So, like, if you know, you should listen to Chicago when you drive through Chicago. You should. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? But
Yeah,
for fun. But recently, and you know, last time you and I talked, and we went through some technical things on getting this recorded. We did a road trip from Missouri through to where we are now in South Carolina, and I have to tell you, I actually found new channels. We found like a true classic rock station that just didn't play the same thing. There was like an
great.
hour of Freudian Slip or something like that. Um, and they did Pink Floyd and bands that were playing Pink Floyd and talking about what was coming up in other albums. And then from that same station, and then we lost them as we crossed borders and stuff, or not borders, but, state borders. They were actually talking about bands and what they were bringing out when watch for this album to drop. Like the Animals have a new album coming up. And I'm like, holy crap. Let me just stop the car now. I've not heard this for so long. Like it's been, I mean,
Yeah.
it's rare. And this is out in the countryside, man. I'm out in Missouri going into Indiana stuff. Like what, certain southern states are good about it. And then there's like pockets of all you get is religion, sports, and
Hmm.
politics.
Yeah.
And the same playlist that you repeat as you go from the next county to the next county. So I was pretty happy. I'm still very pissed about the way radio is now. I'm incredibly pissed because I look to the radio to hear what's going on and they have the ability to do so. And, then you get a college town that will put out like a good hour of music you've never heard. And I'm like, the volume must go up. We want to hear it all. I get all giddy, and it keeps me alive on the road. It's like food for the soul when you're driving and driving and driving and driving and you think you're going to fall asleep at the wheel. Bob's asleep at the wheel. This is a sustenance. Music is everything to keeping you on the road. Everything. And when it's the same thing over and over, you might as well just die. you know? That's how it feels like really when you're on the road as much as we are and driving so long. So some stations are doing it and it's just so few and far in between. And those who are, I just bow down. And, it's the same thing with what you're doing with your music of playing these songs, keeping them alive, but then adding here's the new stuff that is of the same ilk, right? Same
Right.
kind of vibe.
Right. You're a real music lover. That's great.
I am passionately like it's everything. It's food. It's food, but good food. You don't want like crap food. You want good taste, sustenance,
Yeah.
nourishment. It's all of it. It's everything. It's food for the soul, everything.
Yeah.
So
The
for
music
you,
has been, yeah,
yeah,
like any new music, not any new music, most new music that, you might happen to hear these new songs on, on radio or whatever. They're just so uninspiring and they're kind of dumbed down or, there's people that are making and they're not really, songwriters. A lot of them are real musicians or real songwriters or, like some of them they can sing, but you know, it's sort of like there's a lot missing. And, of course, I'm guilty of like doing older stuff, I'm guilty of that. But you are like the way you described it is that's who our audience, you know, ultimately is where you want to hear some real stuff again, where people are playing on it. There's some craft in it, and there's excitement in the track, and the lyrics aren't stupid, and the hooks aren't dumb, like we're just trying to, well, look, we're trying to do the best we can, and really do something with some, some creative songwriting and playing arrangements.
Because I look at it now and I think so much stuff is so over synthesized and dubbed out and toned and whatever like term, not lyrics, but term you want to use, and how I understand we're in a digital age. We're in the digital business, but like I want some human stuff in here. We're in the power of AI that is scary. It is a scary world what's going on with AI. It's scary, yet there's tools to be used in that, and it's this battleground of hell. I mean, we just are looking at Photoshop basically doing ads right now, forget the photo shoot, you can use AI in their ads. And now asking, I mean, we're canceling all our work. We've been using Photoshop since day one, canceling all of our accounts because now you have to sign saying, oh, your work, your stuff that you do, because now everything is online versus here's your CD, right? Will go, and this is for musicians too, using Photoshop. By the way, everyone, you have to sign saying, yes, you permit them as a subscriber to their now subscription to use your content for AI training and development, which is insanity, which means somebody else is using your work, which
wow, that doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah, we've been actually trying to communicate with Photoshop over the last few days, and now we're drinking a lot of wine, but because Nancy was doing that. As soon as she heard, she starts contacting them, and no, it's scary. So I think it's important that, I don't know, that there's live shows, that there's some tactile reality to the
live
arts.
shows are definitely there's people are going to shows, so that is good. The live shows are they're packing them in.
Well, I hope you guys do some live shows, like full on with all your music. I hope you do that. I mean, obviously, I know you're going to bring in
trying
covers.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you want to rave about? Come on, we've touched on all kinds of things. What are you happy about? Other than the song?
No, I don't have any particular. I'm enjoying our conversation here, but I'm not on a tear about anything right now.
No, I mean happy. Rave, not a rant, a rave. We've already done a few things. Yeah. Like, what are you happy about?
Well, I mean, things are moving along well. Things are good.
That's good.
But I don't have I don't have a rant or a rave today.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But isn't that cool to just be in a cool zone? While the world is crazy, that's kind of cool. I think that's a rave, to just be like, I'm all right. Things are good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Making the music is the best part of it. That's really the most fun, is doing the sessions, or or mixing the tune, or
writing it,
or working on it. Yeah.
Is it music?
That's the most fun to do.
Yeah. Like, not in a million years writing that. I mean, that's such a good line. Like I was saying earlier, it's such a good title and lyric, But are you writing the words? Did the words come to you? Is it always or is it the melody? Like, how does that all come together for you as a writer? Because that's always fascinating to me. And for, everyone's different. And for a lot of times it's always different depending what the song was.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like I could, um, you don't know how it just, comes together one way or another.
Mm.
It just comes together, but you have to finish it. That's the hard, like you have an
Ooh,
idea. Oh, this could be
yeah.
this could be good, but if you don't, and then sometimes I'm like, well, wait a minute, I don't have an intro. How does this song start? I don't like. Sometimes you're like, wait a minute, what's the intro? Or other times like, oh, I've got this whole intro and this verse in it, but I don't know where to go with it. So you just have to chisel away at it once you have something that you think is, that you you think is good. Or it's like it's in the back of your mind, you know.
That's
Um,
really cool.
yeah, yeah. So
Follow up.
there's no formula, other than that. No, there's no formula.
Oh, I love that you
Or,
say this about finish it because that's like we have a business show and we talk to business people and leaders, business
mm,
leaders and all of that. And a lot of times people who are on the verge of great success didn't make it because they didn't follow through or they quit
yeah.
right before they were about to make it. No matter
Mm,
how many years you're into something you care about or believe in, you just as you're about to freaking make it, you quit. And then somebody
yeah.
else stole
Oh,
what
I've
you were
wanted to
doing and
quit.
did it
Yeah.
within minutes or
I've
hours
quit.
or days or months, right?
Yeah, I've thought about quitting with this project, with every
Oh, no.
song, with every song. Like
No.
at some point, because you like put it out, you're like, you know what? It's not going anywhere. Why
Oh,
why am I bothering with this? And the next day you wake up and you get a message. I love that song, or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And then you're like, whatever. Then you don't. Then all of a sudden you feel like I'm really, wow, I got to keep going. So, but I'm just saying, you have days like that all the time with every tune I put out. I was sort of like, certain times you felt like, yeah,
yeah.
I'm not going to put any more out after this, and
Well, you got to keep going,
and I already have another one ready, and I know that
So,
Bill Champlin said, yeah, send it to me and let's do another one. So like I'm so lucky to have these guys that are like what I'm doing and
oh, yeah.
enjoy doing it. So I have another one, and I mean it's very discouraging at times, um, but at the same time, like it's 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 exciting. It's great. It's really, who knows what's going to happen. So
I
you're
love that.
building. So what? You're building, and then um, yeah, there's some different people that I know, that I think are interested in working with me, that they would have never heard about me or heard
Mm.
me sing or heard me write a song. So yeah, that's cool. So I just got to enjoy the road of it. It's really fun to do it. It's really fun to record it. That's the best part, like I
See, you
said.
do have a rave. See, I told you.
Yeah.
You got a rave. You got a rave. And
Hmm.
and I think the follow through like you're talking about, I mean, it helps to have a community to continue the follow through. If it was just up to you, only you, always just you, that's when you can easily
Yeah.
quit. It
Yes.
holds you
And it's not
accountable.
really a band. We're not, I mean, I like that everybody's featured, and I want everybody to be involved, but it's kind of like my project. Like no one else is gonna really, like I have to facilitate it all, like
Yeah.
make it happen. Like, hey, could you play on this, or can we do it next week, or like, put it up on, can you help me make a video? Can you like, so if like I have to do it all, we're not really a band. Everybody has their own gigs in life and things, it's like, it's my tune, but it's like a group thing.
Yeah.
And,
And it's kind of
so
like once you talk to one person, you know have to do it now. It's on. It's on like
yeah,
Donkey
yeah,
Kong,
yeah,
But that's the thing. And I'm glad you say all this because I think as listeners, music lovers, we want to understand the work, the craft, what goes into a song. They talk about, musicians and how you get paid at a gig. And it's like, no, it's not about by the hour. It's about a lifetime
mm,
of practice,
right,
and we could go into that for 10 years, but musicians deserve their pay. It's a craft and it's like talk about
mm,
it's like musicians make money, right? And, there's all these and up and down and all around. It's all different for every musician, the financial aspect, right? But the
yeah,
reality is, oh, you hit it here and now all of a sudden you get this money, but that's not the reality for most, right? But
right,
here's the deal. Musicians have to get this song out and it touches humanity in priceless ways. And that's the point. Like, so when musicians get the need to get paid, like Spotify and all that crap, not really playing musicians, that's my rant on that,
right, yeah,
that's the thing. It's like musicians are still giving it out there and then, oh, they need the support. So the one thing we can all do as music lovers is share on social media, like those pages, do what we can to at least share and support on all those streaming things because it does help musicians get gigs. It does help musicians get record deals. It does. That's a reality. And it's a huge other side of work that musicians have to do now, even though they don't necessarily want to. I mean, it's cool to be able to have a Facebook page and connect with fans and have that access. That's a cool thing. But
hmm
there's this whole other level of work that they want to create and play their music and make their music. But there's this whole other business aspect that is hard. And even doing our podcasts and stuff, you guys want to be in the studio instead, and be recording or performing. But there's this whole other side. And so I just always want the audience to kind of remember that when they're seeing a show, see a musician post something, that we can all be part of doing something because music is priceless. It's part of our memory bank. It's part of how we live, how many times I remember this song. I was doing this at this time, all of that. The musician really didn't get paid for that. No matter what. I don't care how rich they are. They didn't because it's priceless. So you guys do good work and I appreciate you being on the show and the music that you're creating and can't wait for the next song. Stay in touch.
I will. Lisa, thanks for having me on and all the compliments about the songs. I'm really glad that you like the music so much. Thank you.
I know our audience will for sure. For sure. All right. Well, you take care.
Great.
Thanks so much. Everyone, again, the links are in the show notes to keep up with Doug and go to their Facebook page. So the Allstar Project Studio Deluxe on Facebook and YouTube. It's all there. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Lisa.